Well, well, well. If it isn't the smartest people I know. Welcome. My name is Christopher Valentine, but you can call me Chris. And I talk about the things that interest me. And today, it is intelligence. But more specifically, emotional intelligence. Because honestly, what is the definition of intelligence? I've often heard that everyone has a different definition for this. And obviously I know everything, so mine is the one we're going to go by here today. My definition of intelligence, ladies and gentlemen, and theys and thems, is actually led by the idea of having tact. Having emotional intelligence. Being aware of the way that people can feel at any given moment because of their particularly unique or potentially unique life experience, and moving accordingly, bitch. Okay? I'm not gonna say some sideways shit in general, but especially not at the wrong place or the wrong time in front of the wrong person, because I don't want to harm others. And words can really sit with people. Now, it's kind of fucked up because the reality is that under this facet of my definition, you're assuming that people give a fuck. And they don't. That's the simple truth. Most people are out for number one. Number one being them motherfucking selves. They don't care about how they harm others. And they definitely don't give a fuck about who they're saying what to and when. They have no tact. They're just big balls of messes. The only time that those people can be said to appear to have tact is when they're trying to secure a bag or an opportunity. And in that case, they're just manipulative. Now look, I like a little manipulative moment myself to get an outcome. I mean, the ends do typically justify the means. However, that was a joke, kind of. By the way, BT dubs. Let me stop. I think that for the most part, people are extremely careless. And this is on every single level. Like, for sure with other people, duh, but mostly with themselves. I mean, people don't give a fuck about themselves other than survival and convenience, comfort. Like, nobody's out here really doing the work to unpack. Okay, I'm being very hyperbolic, I'm realizing. Like, I'm going a little too hard. Like, clearly people care because the whole thing of the discourse on tickety-tocketies and all the social medias in the last 5 to 6 years has been people collectively gathering because they have nowhere else to gather in the real world to be like, oh my God, you actually care about being a better person. So, like, let's figure this shit out together. But for the sake of dramatic fact, nobody's really out here trying to become a better person. Please. That is a sham. And obviously, again, I'm being hyperbolic because when I say nobody really, what I'm really talking about is how small the number of people seem to be in the real world that you encounter who seem to give a fuck. And maybe it's just a thing of how much you give a fuck. Because obviously everyone has their loved ones and the people that they're trying to protect or take care of or cater to, etc., etc., etc. Maybe it's more of how much you care because everyone has their loved ones and the people that they prioritize. But then, of course, we have a capacity, and most of the people you're meeting every day are coming across in person are strangers. So you're not going to extend the same level of care to a stranger as you are to the people that you love, unless you really give a fuck about people. I would consider that to be a good person. Now, I'm not saying that's the only, requirement. There's a lot of ways of looking at this, but I think that if you are a careless person with the average everyday person who you don't know, you don't get to fucking call yourself a good person. Okay? And then what I love is that people will jump immediately to be like, well, everyone has bad days and it's a really hard time right now. Yeah, it is. And so people who actually go out of their way to inconvenience themselves to be kind when they could easily get more out of being a fucking bitch, they're the real champions, okay? Love them. And I would like to think I'm one of these people, but I know I got a spicy side, okay? Because I'm the type, if I try to do something nice and then you spit in my face, I'm gonna fucking punch you. Metaphorically, public platforms, I watch what I say. No, but really, metaphorically, obviously, what the hell? That's crazy. I will definitely have something to say if you try to play me after I tried to be kind to you. Notice that I'm saying kind too. I'm not saying nice. Okay. Nice is a surface level, periphery, like it's not real. It's like just this thing that you make people feel comfortable with. Whereas kindness is an action, actually doing things that line up with admirable morals and value systems. And I don't think most people have that when you meet them. I don't think most people have that because when you meet most strangers, they ain't doing that for you. Even when you do it for them, which usually kindness begets kindness, but we've gone down the spiral, girl. And now I'm a little bit sad, but not too much. I don't think that the world is full of terrible people. I just also don't think that the world is full of authentically good people. I think the world is full of people who are trying to survive. And that's because of capitalism. Okay? When you're being squeezed so tight that you're going to pop like a pimple because if you don't, you're not going to be able to pay your rent or buy any food to eat for the week for you and maybe even more people if you chose to make the horrible, horrible, horrible decision of having children. JK, love a child, don't want any, but maybe it's because I don't have the right partner. Let's not get into that. If you are being essentially suffocated by the everyday needs that you have, and responsibilities that you don't even want to have to deal with in the first place, work, labor, then the unpaid labor that you might do at home or for sure do, because actually even if you're single, you have to go and do all these chores and diligencias. And why did I just say chores twice? Once in Spanish, once in English. Anyways, if you have all of that going on, it's going to be that much easier to be careless with others. And all of that ties into why I think that most people are fucking stupid. Okay? Truly. Like, base level is emotional intelligence. The capability to treat others kindly, even if it does not benefit you. And then beyond that, the tact aspect of emotional intelligence, which again, I was talking about caring and, chicken or the egg first as a nurture in nature. I don't know, girl. I don't know, diva. I don't know what to tell you, but I know that it seems to mostly be missing from people. And I don't like that. While recognizing that it could absolutely be there, but it's just being stomped out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to be fair here because I'm nothing if not fair. I will bring the hammer down, but fairly though, with fair judgment. And you see that kind of consideration that you see happening in real time, happening in real time for the actual podcast listeners is what I don't think we have enough of, at least here in the US. Cause again, also very US centric point of view. And we are the pinnacle of capitalism. We will be burning to the ground sometime very soon because of it. And the carelessness of people is a symptom of that. But yeah, tact, care, kindness, these things to me show intelligence because what have you to lose by exercising these muscles of kindness and mutual care? Sorry, there was something going on in the background. I'm sure you heard it, but whatever. You have nothing to lose with these things, literally. Nothing at all. And everything to gain, or maybe that's a step too far because when you're a really kind person, people try to take advantage of it, but like it's your job to establish boundaries. So like, whatever, another conversation for another day. And then we have the kind of intelligence that most people think of and refer to, which is information based, books based, academia based. And that's kind of a lie because really when people view others as intelligent, it's not based on anything legitimate. Okay. That's the gag. It's not actual ability to synthesize information from valid sources from a wide array with different perspectives, all with, expertise in their field. And then be able to form your own critical opinion of the topic at hand because of these perspectives. And furthermore, break it down on all levels for a 4-year-old all the way up to an 80-year-old, and then in between all the different isms and ages and generations. Like, most people don't have that. They don't. That's the thing. And people don't really judge based off of that. Because if they did, we would all be like, everybody's a fucking dumbass. What people really go off of, just like with the elections, vibes elections, is vibes intelligence. Like, oh, so you use quotation marks, big words. I fucking hate when people say that. Oh, girl, I cannot stand it. Oh my God, why are you using big words? Or, wow, that's so impressive. That's such a big word. That's it. Shut the fuck up, girl. Crack open a dictionary. We got the internet now. It is not that serious. Also, most of us, me included, have a Rolodex of words that are considered, let's say, more rigorous, that we simply have added to our arsenal to portray ourselves as intelligent or someone to take serious, legitimate, etc., etc. And mind you, I know quite a few. I have a good vernacular, mind you, and I'm still sitting here dragging myself, because if you can't drag yourself, you can't drag anybody else. I know that's right. But anyways, back to the topic at hand. What we really do is receive people's signals that they're intelligent, which is based on nothing other than vibes. The vibes being the way that you dress, the way that you show up in the world, physically with actual articles of clothing, how closely you align to the virtues that are deemed admirable and enviable and exemplary, which is also steeped in elitism and artificial perspective, artifice is what I'm saying. Artifice. You know, if I wore some nerdy glasses and a button-up shirt, stripped these nails off, deepened my voice a little bit, started to speak really slowly and intentionally, and used words like pernicious and, right. You know, when people say right as they're speaking to lead you in conversation, and kind of like referenced obscure facts and ideological sources and started talking about stoicism. Like, bro, it's just like, that's just how we fucking work. Like, at the end of the day, society is fucked, man. Like, you see how I went into bro culture? And they get deemed as intelligent just by virtue of, because we hierarchize everything. And at the top is men who do the bare minimum to get the most benefit. Cishet men, let's be clear. If I did that, button up, deep voice, slow talking, obscure facts, references that may or may not be real, nerdy glasses, chose the right topics to reference, I would be seen as the smartest person in the world. Like, I would signal that to whoever. And that is not okay, y'all. We need to step our motherfucking cookies up. Okay? I was actually going to talk about media literacy today, but there wasn't much to say other than get your fucking shit together and source your information from the right place. Hello? Wake it up. Wake it the fuck up. TikTok is not a source. Okay, that was incorrect. TikTok is not a proper source of information for most topics. TikTok is a source for the zeitgeist, popular culture, popular thought bubbles, social norms, sociality, generational divide, like sociological study. You can use TikTok for that, sure. And even then, of course, it's lacking because not everyone is on social media. Large portion, yes, but not everyone. I don't even know if the majority of people are on social media because there's such a wide vast of generations who perform in different ways and show up in the world in different ways. But social media is not a proper source of information for things that are I want to say rigorous, but that feels elitist. But let me just dip into my elitist bag for things that are rigorous. Like, if you're trying to figure out who to vote for, social media is not where you find that out. Okay? The news is not even where you find that out. Girl, you need to go to the direct source. See the person who is trying to get the position speaking and what they're talking about and how they're laying out the plan for that thing. And then go on their website and see if it matches up to what they said and what they're performing. Cause being in the public eye is a performance. Existing at this point is somewhat of a performance because social media culture, et cetera, internet culture, blah, blah, blah. So you need to dig in. And then when you do go to news sources, what are you going there for? And what news sources are you going to and why? Because media is essentially dead at this point. True journalism, not media. Journalism is essentially dead at this point. Like true journalism. It's so hard to find. And you want to find somewhere that is giving you facts without bias, which actually isn't that hard to do, but because we live in a capitalist world, these people are really trying to make money while they do the thing. And so they end up being siphoned into the vacuum of clickbait and rage bait of presenting things from one point of view with one sort of undertone or even overtone. Hello, Fox News. Or like, let me not even go on this tangent, but people are trying to make money, so then that automatically poisons the ability to get a wide breadth of true journalism. You know, even when bias is not a difficult thing to strip of your journalistic work, all journalists learn how to do that. So at the base level, they have the same foundation of knowledge if they have credentialing, I guess I should say, from school. Like you have taken many a journalism course and media literacy course. You know, at least intellectually, how to present this information in an unbiased way. And so you're choosing to deviate from that. Why? Because rage, clickbait, et cetera, makes more money, gets more views equals more money. And media is not the thing to play the capitalist game with. But they unfortunately have no choice. Imagine if we lived in a world where our governments made it a priority to regulate the media that is allowed to be disseminated to the public. And I'm talking about, because obviously we start getting to censorship territory here. Ooh, careful. But I'm talking more so about having regulations on the standard of work in the specific field, which in this case is, I don't even know, is it editorial news? Yeah, like widespread editorial news, where people have to, let's say, present a certain amount of sources or provide certain information for it to be deemed as valid, or et cetera. Imagine we lived in a world where we were attempting to that, because it would be murky and messy and whatever, but it would certainly be better than where we're at right now. Right now is a fucking hurricane of mess. And it's such a huge barrier in our ability to progress as a culture and a society. Now that the fucking culture is flattening because of the internet worldwide, really, it's holding us back. And I deviated to this branch of the topic because I think that intelligence is inextricably linked to someone's moral and value system. I could never see someone who is a bad person. And let me be clear about what a bad person is to me. A bad person to me is a person who does bad things constantly. What are bad things? Things that harm other people. And yes, sometimes it's unintentional, but I'm talking about people who know they're doing bad things, even if it's unintentional or not. They are aware of the harm they're causing, and they continue to do it because it is more beneficial for them to do those bad things, or it gives them whatever high or whatever feeling that they like, that it feels better than being kind, or they have chosen is better than being kind. Bad people are not smart people. There's no way you can be an intelligent person, because what are you, as beings that are inextricably pulled towards connection, community, we're herd animals. How on earth could being a piece of shit be smart? It always comes back to bite in the end, in one way, shape, or form, or in many. I mean, there's no way that you can live as a vacuum of vacuum of terror and evil and not see many a repercussion. Most of which is these sycophants and fucking monsters, if you notice, are in a constant state of combat. They're always fighting something or someone off. That is not enviable to me, diva. I don't want that kind of life. And so how could you be intelligent if the simple way to remedy that is by being a kinder, more community embracing person? You're not. You're a fucking dumbass and an asshole. Pick a struggle, my lord. But anywho, I think that intelligence is a multi-pronged thing. And I think we all need to view it that way. Because if you're only judging based off of academia and big words and surface level expression, you know, what people wear, the way that they talk, the words that they use, then you're in a losing game. And also the standard is in fucking hell at that point. I mean, it is currently in hell. I don't want to say it's currently in hell, actually, because we have been doing a lot of change ever since this last election and realizing how bad it is to not have media literacy and standards for people. And that's actually been a thing culturally for the last 5-6 years. You know, the shift from the gender wars into understanding how fundamental feminism is, because it's really just human rights, and actually tackling anti-blackness, not just racism, because you can be racist towards, shut the fuck up, anti-blackness, really digging in on homophobia and understanding that it's femphobia, even though we don't use that term. We know that it's really femininity in men. Like, there's been this big movement towards it. And I guess this episode of this podcast is my little entry into the worldwide journal. And I would like for us to be more thoughtful consistently as a collective about who we are platforming as what. Particularly who we deem intelligent individuals and why. Because for Joe Rogan to be the number one motherfucking podcast in the world, girl, be motherfucking for real. On that note, thank you so much for listening. And if no one's told you today, I love you. Follow me at all the socials. YouTube, first and foremost, most important, thank you very much, where you can get the video element of this podcast. And Instagram, would love to gag my ego with some more Instagram followers. TikTok and Blue Sky. I really, really appreciate all 5 of you divas listening. It really gets my fucking gears going. And I hope that you keep sticking with me because I live for this. Tell me what you think, please. Give me the opinions. Give me the perspectives. I really like a story though. Love a story. Don't care how long it is. I'll read it to the end. Like, I really like knowing about other people's lives and what's going on and how the topic connects them. Like, I live for that. So all the stories, please, and all the comment sections and DMs, I can't promise because I don't really go in there, but I will try. Do better and require better of others. I guess I'll see you on the next one. Oh, by the way, see, I did it again. Backtrack. At Christopher Valentine. And here we are talking about intelligence. At Christopher Valentine. Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all listeners. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye. Good.